Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
It's time for another daily dose of dismal Disney. We're going to talk about how an investor in Disney is calling the company out and saying they need to change their ways. They need to get out of politics. Imagine that.
Yeah, and go back to center.
Go back to center.
And you know what? Clearly, it's a white supremacist.
Clearly, this guy's a white supremacist. Yeah, so we're gonna talk about this, and a lot of people saying Disney should just go back to center, but of course, they decided they were going to stick their nose into politics, and there have been some repercussions for that. Anyway, before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Please subscribe to the channel. Almost 276,000 subs. Thank you for the support. Woohoo! Got to do a woohoo, and. Speaking of support, go out and support Crimson Wren. We have a couple days left on the main campaign. I think we're going to leave this one in demand for a month or two until we get things wrapped up with the printer, and probably do a couple of weeks on Kickstarter too. Some people have asked about that, but yeah, thank you so much for the support. This book it's finally getting made after 10 years. 10 years.
It's been a while.
A long time. Not going to be on the Disney Channel. It's been a while. It's been, because I was going back and checking the script and the notes, and it was like,
I want to say it was like
2012, 2013.
I thought it was 13 or 14.
It was a while ago.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's getting made. So let's talk about this. The Wall Street Journal put this article out there. An anti-ESG activist investor presses for changes at Apple and Disney. Basically, his thing is, and we've talked, before a little bit about BlackRock. Some people talk about that. ESG, that is actually pushing companies to get into politics more and to get into environmental causes and social causes and that sort of thing as part of the deal for taking the money, right? And this guy's coming in saying, hey, Disney, Apple, you guys really don't have any business getting into politics. And you need to go back to center if you want to maximize shareholder return. Right, because we've done multiple videos about this where shareholders are not happy, especially conservative shareholders are not happy with Disney, and it is starting to cost them.
Well, Disney, here's the thing: it's just going back to center doesn't hurt anything.
No.
Going back to center would be the best way to win over your audience, because everybody, regardless of if you're on the right or the far left, you go to Disney because you're there to have a good time,
right,
not be preached at. And it's like constant. That doesn't mean that you can't have diversity and inclusion and all that stuff. Totally can. The issue is when you become like that's all you care about, and by doing that you just chase everybody away because they're like, you're about agenda, not about actual, like you don't actually care about the things you're yelling about.
Yeah, so anyway, Wall Street Journal, anti-ESG activist presses for changes. I cannot pronounce his name. Vivek Ramaswamy? VR urges iPhone maker not to do a racial equity audit and wants Disney to refrain from engaging in political discussions.
Wait, the Conservative Political Action Committee?
What?
But don't you know all conservatives are straight white men?
What? Said he's urging Apple Inc. and Disney to not engage in political discussions and to make employment decisions without taking into account traits like race, sex, or political opinions. VR, who recently launched Strive Asset Management, said Disney should no longer take public positions on political issues that aren't related to the company's core businesses. The letter cited how Disney chief executive Bob Chapek took a stance on Florida's parental rights and education bill. Disney must act now, he said. If Disney continues speaking out on political issues that do not affect its business, it will face even greater pressure to act when they do.
Yes.
And the sides Disney will be expected to take won't be the ones that are favorable to business.
Right. You've already given in to certain groups once. Now they expect you to do it all the time. And they started out, he said he wasn't going to get political.
Yeah, and then, almost immediately, like within a week, he backpedaled on that. And here, if you want a good example of companies that, have bent the knee and have had to continue to bend the knee to activists, look at Hasbro. Look at what's going on with Wizards of the Coast. Like, they keep bending over backwards to try to appease basically a minority of people. these people don't make up the bulk of their consumers, but they're dictating, the terms of business for Hasbro. Like, this is what you will and will not do. This is what you will and will not put in your books. And the weird thing about, Dungeons and Dragons in particular is it's always been optional to have, certain races or classes or whatever rules in the game, but they are basically forcing the company to make public statements on, racism and activism and all this stuff. And they're actually chasing away the normie consumers. And I think Disney taking positions like this, one way or the other, honestly, I think they're gonna chase away the normie consumers.
So the real villain in D&D is the straight white dude.
The straight white dude, yeah. Disney spokesman said in an email that the company regularly receives input from its shareholders. We listen to their perspectives, he said. Now, this is the same company that put into play the what was it? Tomorrow.
Reimagine Tomorrow.
Reimagine Tomorrow, yeah. I was just going to say Project Tomorrow. Reimagine Tomorrow, where they basically made a huge deal out of diversity and inclusion and equity and to the point where a lot of longtime cast members were like, this is a load of crap because, one, they don't practice what they preach, but even then they're like dividing us up into very racially biased groups. Didn't they have like the Latino people in like the taco truck or something? Or no, it wasn't that bad, but they had like
they divided up groups by ethnicity.
It was like
to be like
Ola was the name of
it. It was something like that.
Yeah,
it was like
really
very stereotyped,
pandering.
But it was like, these are the groups that are going to help Disney understand those cultures so they can make better choices, and then people that weren't, that like were white basically, didn't really fit in any of these groups. And the only way to win in this kind of thing is not to play and go back to the way it was, where, it was, everybody was basically, you had representation all the time and no one thought anything of it. Like, you didn't think about the fact that, oh, that's my coworker Kelly. And you didn't think, well, but Kelly, now it's Kelly who happens to be, by POC, or she's like a lesbian or something. You didn't think about that before, nor did you care. It was like, oh, that's my, this race, this sexual identity coworker. It was just like, oh yeah, that's Kelly. You know what I mean?
Before it used to be like, who is Kelly sleeping with? I wish it was me, but she's with Greg or Susan. Could be either one. Yeah, I don't know.
It wasn't like it is now, where you have to know everybody's everything, and you better know. And understand that, that what point system these all equate to, because you'll be in trouble if you don't.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. And then Disney was kind of incentivizing people to look for problems. I mean, Coke did the same thing. They would bring these advisors in. And look, corporations do this all the time. They think they're doing the right thing. But the thing is these advisors, these auditors, are there to look for problems.
They make problems because they don't have a job.
They have, this is like anytime somebody comes in as a consultant, well, they got to have something to consult you on. So they're going to look for issues. They're going to look for problems.
They're going to make issues that aren't there just so they keep getting paid to come find issues.
Right. So anyway, now it could be argued this guy, they said he's an activist investor. He is. He basically kicked in some money, so he had a say in things. But it's interesting. In a separate letter to Apple, Mr. Ramaswamy, I guess, pushed back on the company's plans to conduct a racial equity audit and asked, what even is that?
I was wondering that too. What the hell was it supposed to be?
What is a racial equity audit? And asked the tech giant to make all hiring decisions, without taking into account political beliefs, racial sex. So basically, do we have enough? You have to
have the right amount. As I'm saying, the right checkboxes, the right number, right percentages.
Okay. Do we have too many white people working at this store?
So instead of basing it on, I just think you should just hire people that are best for their job. And I don't think that you should even have to know what race, sexual orientation, or anything they are. That's not, you should just look at the qualifications on the resume, and if they're really qualified, hire them.
Yeah, so Strive, that's his company, holds positions in Apple and Disney and a recently launched exchange-traded fund that invests in large public companies. The fund has roughly 11 million net assets. Publicly exchange-traded fund. I might have to invest in that. I'm just saying. Mr. Ramaswamy is the author of Woke Inc., a book that argues companies shouldn't be swayed by politics. Strive Management's main fund, focused on energy, has 320 million in assets. Earlier this month, he publicly called on Chevron to pump more fossil fuels over the next decade and slow spending on, how dare you, slow spending on energy transition plans. His energy ETF holds a position in Chevron. He says companies have a fiduciary duty to their shareholders, not the firms who represent those stockholders, like big asset managers such as BlackRock. So you owe, okay, this sounds like a Mary Poppins song. You owe a fiduciary duty to the actual owners of Disney, not the institutions who claim to represent them. So now you have to have a Sherman Brothers. You owe a fiduciary duty to the actual owners
Of Disney,
who actually pay your bills, you dumb fucks.
I don't think that's a song they write.
Chim-chim-cheree, motherfuckers.
I don't think that's...
Let's make lots of bucks. Or it's England, so not bucks. They don't call it bucks. Let's make lots of pound sand. Dumbasses.
There is a reason.
Hoo-ah.
There is a reason why you're not in charge of musicals.
This is why I'm not in charge of Disney. I would just like break out in
euros now. I don't know.
No, I think they went back to pounds.
Did they? I don't even know.
Brexit
no
and
offense.
stuff.
I don't know.
All right. There's a strong reason to believe.
I'm sure they'll tell me in the comments. Anyway.
There's a strong reason to believe these large asset managers are not acting with their clients' best interests in mind. No shit. Many asset managers have previously pushed back on criticism of ESG, the loosely defined practice of considering issues beyond short-term profits when making financial decisions, by noting that companies that take into account environmental risks and opportunities tend to be more profitable over time. No, they don't. No, they don't. They want them to be. But they really don't. Earlier this year, Mr. Chapek, Mr. Paycheck, changed course on his policy of staying out of politics, which lasted like a freaking week. A week.
I don't think it even was that long. It was
like
literally
a
like a few days, like a couple days. It was not that long.
Somebody needs to show up on his doorstep and sing that song to his face.
Well, they're going to go to jail if they do. Anyway.
They would. Then they'll blame us. At the company's annual meeting, he said he had told Ron DeSantis he was concerned about the education bill's potential impact on LGBT children and yada yada. In his letter to Disney, Mr. Ramaswamy also called on that I'm probably not pronounced. His name's probably pronounced like Smith or something, and I'm not pronouncing it right. Also called on the company to commit to having human resource policies, making it clear that both customers and employees won't be punished for expressing their political beliefs. Oh, that's interesting.
See, here's the thing. What we're hearing from people is that if you are somebody who's diverse, then you can say or do whatever, and that's fine. If you're somebody who they consider, the wrong political side, the wrong color, the wrong race, the wrong gender, whatever, you have to mind your P's and Q's, because if you give input they don't like, you have to be told, you will speak when they tell you to speak.
We have gotten, and I don't want to get anybody in trouble, but we've gotten multiple emails, DMs over the years from cast members when we talk about this, because again, a lot of these cast members are in Florida, and they're like, hey, guess what? There's conservatives in Florida, and they're like, hey, I've worked at this company for years, and I never felt unwelcome until recently.
That's it. And they're talking about unity, but everything that they're doing is the opposite, is opposition of unity.
Yeah, we don't want to be opposing unity here, but more and more companies, more and more news outlets are calling out companies like Disney and saying that they need to stay out of politics. This is the Drum, which leans left, as far as I know, and it's a kind of an insider publication. But they said that they need to stay the hell out of politics.
I think most people agree with that.
Well, let me put it this way. They're like, stay the hell out of politics unless you agree with us.
Yeah.
That's usually how it works. And that is on both sides. They're like, oh, yeah, we don't want politics or whatever, but you better agree with us here. I actually think that there needs to be an across the board rule that, like, we don't engage in political discussions. Our job is to entertain people, and we're not going to hold anything against people unless they're legit assholes or they're being a problem at work and they're distressing their coworkers. But just like, if you're wearing a cross to work and your atheist coworker is freaking out, you're just wearing a cross to work. That's not like a big deal. It's not really a political thing. So yeah, I don't know, guys. I think it's gonna be really interesting though going forward, because we are seeing Disney's stock drop. We're seeing a lot of backlash. We're seeing their public opinion polls are not doing well. A lot of people losing faith in this company. And now you've got somebody pumping millions of dollars, which
Who's not white?
Who's not white?
Well, what narrative are you going to use now?
Yes, listen to the brown man who says you're too woke.
But there'll be a narrative. There'll be a narrative.
There will be a narrative. There will be a narrative. And anyway, we're going to wrap this up.
Yes.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.